from, like, even with what Dylan was mentioning, is it's just like she kind of had like this rise to stardom, like, quite fast. And she was pretty young, and she became like a hot topic, like really, really quickly. And like everybody jumped onto her music and everybody was about her, and it's like at first I'm sure that you can imagine that, like you enjoy the paparazzi, you enjoy the attention because, maybe she felt as if she deserved that because she worked so hard for it and it was something that she deserved. But then we start to see that it becomes overwhelming, and it's like, as you were saying, she was expected to be very soft spoken, very approachable, and like just that sweet little like innocent girl. And I think that when that happened for so long, people took advantage of her niceness. And, it kind of like overstepped many of her boundaries that she wasn't able to set because she had these expectations of being a soft-spoken, sweet girl, So when paparazzi comes fucking like following you everywhere you go, you can't even move your car to get out. Like, I can't imagine how overwhelming that is. And it's just like, you can see in a lot of her like responses, like the way she responds to like the paparazzi and like people is like, she's saying like hi and she's like smiling, but it's almost kind of like I just really like want to be out of here, like she's kind of like smiling through her teeth, and that's just because quote unquote she had to, and like she had an image to like maintain. And then I think that when you're in the face of the public, as you are, where you're such a big, like, public figure, and you have a child, like, I don't think that a lot of people understand that what comes with pregnancy, and, like, what comes with, like, having a baby. And...
Okay, before you go in there, I do want to comment on what you just said.
Okay.
The whole thing... Okay, so with her... being this like soft-spoken, super sweet character persona, right, that everyone's in love with, everyone is just so interested in like seeing the unravel. Remember that they mentioned pretty much like how fascinating, like we couldn't keep our eyes off of her, like just like being this completely different character outside the character of Britney, the persona that we all like got to know and love. And they were like vultures, and they fucking... And I could imagine that some paparazzi were like actually trying to like
provoke her,
get a reaction. Get a reaction out of her constantly. And it was like so many of them. Think about how one picture was selling for like $1 million. That is wild. That is wild. They would definitely be trying to get her to react in some way or do something that would,
Yeah, and...
get some kind of picture for them, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna touch a little bit more on paparazzi, but I think that, like, when... I understand, like, wanting to get that coin and wanting to make money, and, like, wanting to be sustainable, but also... I think that there comes a point where you have to take time to reflect to see if it's coming at someone else's expense, and I think that people were just so blinded by the dollar sign and by the number that they didn't take that into consideration, and they didn't see the effect that they were having on this woman, So leading back into the overall, like, mental health aspect of this, I think that when, going back to saying, like, a lot of people don't understand what comes with pregnancy. I mean, obviously, I've never been pregnant before. I can't physically get pregnant. But it's just like I've been around a lot of people who are pregnant, and postpartum depression is a real thing. And it's just like, you have a literal human growing inside of you. So I can't imagine what that's like for her. And when there's that picture where she has the baby sitting in the front seat, obviously, she had no ill intentions with that. She wasn't trying to put her baby in danger. I'm not saying that putting your baby in the front seat is, like, okay because your dad used to do it with you. But it's just, like, in that time, she was just trying to do what she can to comfort her newborn baby and be present for her baby. I think that, within that moment of, like, anxiety, like, have you ever been in the same space as a crying baby? Like, it is so overwhelming. And, like, because it's, like, how do you maintain yourself? How do you control yourself and your emotions while you're also trying to manage another little person's emotions who you cannot speak to? Like, that is such an overwhelming situation. So, you know, at that time, she thought that she was doing what was best for her baby. And it's like, little did the paparazzi know, like, that is such an, like, what's happening inside that car is, like, such an overwhelming fucking situation. And
Zach, but I disagree with you when it comes to the paparazzi. I think they knew damn well what they were doing. I think that they knew they were hurting this girl. I think that their presence, they knew, they had to have known that they were affecting her in a negative way. I think a lot of times they were doing it on purpose because they wanted a reaction from her. So no, I don't think they're just trying to make coin on a lot of the situation. I think that they were trying to make money, but they knew it was in the expense of Britney's well-being. Do you know what I mean? Like, they didn't care. They didn't care that it was...
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to ask. Like, did it mean anything to them? Like, did that mean anything to them? Did it affect how they sleep that night? No, it didn't.
No, because they still cashed that fucking check.
Yeah. So, you know, like, speaking more to that is it's just like, that's when I feel like the downfall of, like, Britney kind of, or at least what other people consider the downfall of Britney really came from, you know, is it's just like, you just had a baby. Postpartum depression is a real thing, you know. Also, when, like, you are during pregnancy or, like, after pregnancy, like, you suffer from, like, hair loss, like, your emotions aren't the same, like, your hormones are, like, all out of whack, and then it's, like, also physically, like, you have so much going on with you, you know?
Yeah,
so it's just, like, to
job,
maintain yourself.
With your marriage that is no longer functioning.
Exactly.
With your mental health that is also taking somewhat of a plummet. With all of that stress and pressure of constantly being followed, with all of that constant judgment from every angle, saying that you're a bad parent when all you're trying to do is just be.
Yeah. And
you're getting pretty much threatened by your, you know, divorced husband with taking your children away.
Not only that, but it's just like, I don't know who's experienced, like, custody battles and whatnot, but it's just like, when you have pictures of you with your child sitting in your front seat, you know, maybe you're holding a glass of water in one hand and your baby in the other, like, it doesn't look good for you. Like, it just doesn't look good for you, like, regardless of what the intentions are or not, like, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that just didn't look good in Britney's case, you know?
They were gonna rip her a new one either way. Like, I think from all of the negative media that she was going through at the time, like, every week it was something. I remember, like every week it was something. She was always on the cover.
Oh, yeah.
Something very negative. It was like, and it never had to do with anyone else. Like, it was always kind of the blame on her. Like, her marriage is falling apart. What did she do? Justin's and her relationship fell apart. She cheated on him. Like, it was
quote unquote
her.
Yeah, it was always her. She was the victim, you know, she was a victim. She was an easy target. And, you know, again, that comes from being taken advantage of because you're a soft-spoken, nice, approachable person. And people definitely took advantage of that. And so now...
It's easy to just blame...
Oh my gosh.
The girl.
It always, and it has been, you know, and that leads back into our misogyny conversation. But it's like, you take all these pieces and you add them together and you consider her mental health, and it's like, she's already experiencing a lot, and it just doesn't seem to be getting better in her case. And she's like, literally, by me doing nothing, it seems like I'm causing the whole world, like, trouble. And it's just like, I'm the bad guy in everyone's eyes, no matter what I do, you know? And it's like, referring even to that conversation about, like, her cheating on Justin. And then not only that, but then, as you mentioned, well, do you want to mention, like, the conversation that happened on the radio that he had?
Excuse me? What a fucking asshole. What an asshole. What an asshole. Holy shit. Like, how... Okay. And then it just goes back to the fucking virginity conversation. He says that he slept with her? Are you serious?
First of all, the host of that show, did you have sex with Britney Spears?
Why would you ask that? What's wrong with you?
Why do you care?
Why is everyone trying to fucking...
Get in on this. Like, hello. So it's like that conversation, and it's like, and so you imagine that.
Oh my gosh, did you see the whole, like, he has to see music, but at least he slept with Britney or something like that?
Yeah!
And I was like,
Yeah, and I was like, okay, first of all, there's so many wrong things with that sentence. There's so many wrong things.
Ugly things like that.
But it's just like, imagine coming from that, and then it's just like you're in this custody battle with your parents' father, and it's just like you have these images that are out there of you that doesn't look good for your case, you know, especially if you're in a custody battle. And it's like you get your children taken away, you know? And so then when people are in...
The thing is, I'm not saying, like, what she did was, like, right or anything or wrong. What I'm saying is, I mean, there's no perfect parent. There's no perfect parent.
No.
And
you can't tell somebody how to parent. Literally, you cannot, because everybody does it differently. That's why no matter how many fucking books you read, no one's going to ever get it right.
Nobody gets policed the way Britney was policed. Like,
oh my God,
not a single fucking perfect person out there or a perfect parent. But at least you don't have people taking pictures of you every single moment of every day. Like, every mistake that Britney ever made was documented.
Oh, yeah, and it was out there. Especially from being a child. Like, from being a child up until now, every single moment of Britney has been documented. Like,
yeah,
mostly bad.
So,
like,
no. So, like, I mean, that's not fair. I'm sure this fucking other guy wasn't, like, the perfect parent either, but there isn't fucking paparazzi following him 24 hours a day, seeing when he fucks up. So
you know why that is, Dylan? Because he's the man.
Yeah. And also because he's not as famous. But
and also nobody fucking cares. But
nobody fucking cares about him, that's why. But and everyone, I mean, wanted a piece of her.
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, but back into the conversation of mental health. So it's like, you know, I think a lot, and like, hi, Zach reverting it back to themselves, but it's like, I think about me, and I think about my breakdowns that I had, some moments that may have not looked so great for me, and it's just like the anxiety I experienced, the depression I experienced, all of this, if that was captured on a fucking camera, if that was captured on video, I could not imagine that fucking helping my mental wellness. I cannot, you know? So it's just like, at a point, there is going to have to be a breaking point. Like, there is just going to have to, because you're literally breaking down a person.
The amount of buildup.
Like, all of that is building up, and you have to break it down to a person to where, of course, you fucking see me going to my baby daddy's house, asking to see my fucking kids after I'm going through a lot. The fucking media has me out there because I just shaved my fucking head because I wanted to. Some guy told me I couldn't fucking shave my head. I tried to go see my fucking kid, and my baby daddy's not letting me. Of course I'm gonna be in an emotional fucking state of mind. Then I'm asking you to leave me alone, and you still have the audacity to come to my fucking window and be like, hey, Brittany, can I ask you a couple of fucking questions? Of course I'm gonna go fucking haywire on you. Like, what the fuck? I am in an emotional, vulnerable position. And then, not only did they profit off of that picture of her, they also profited off the umbrella that she used to fucking hit his car. And I'm just like, this woman is literally being profited off of for her vulnerability, for her mental health deteriorating, like, and for what? For what? Her mental health is at the expense of other people, and I think that that is the worst fucking thing to experience. Because, Dylan, imagine the moments where you've been down, where you've wanted to cry, where you've been shaky, where you've having a moment in your car that is caught on camera. Someone is recording that, and someone is around you all the fucking time. And people are watching you like vultures, where they're like, hey, come here. Like, don't tell anybody else that you're here, but Brittany's about to be here, and she's gonna do some crazy shit. Like, imagine that people are putting you in that light. How would that feel for you?
Well, I mean, not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think about that a lot. I think about the fact that there's a lot of shame in that. Like, there's a lot, it's so sad. Like, I have my moments where I look back and I'm like, oh God, like, I can't believe, like, I did this or that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's, like, moments, like, you don't want to relive, right? It's like, imagine if everybody, like, knew about it. even people you don't know.
Not only in the United States, but, like, across the world. Everywhere.
There is not a person you can just meet that doesn't know just your most embarrassing ass secrets.
Yep. Everything is out there.
Like, that's so weird. That's so weird. She could